Today's subject matter: what does a spiritual awakening really look like? So if you want a behind the scenes look, then by all means, stick around. So really, what is a spiritual awakening? Well, it's an awakening of something that's deeper than something physical inside of the system. It's a realization of that which we are to some degree is deeper than just the body. Perhaps we have a realization that in fact I'm not the body, or there's no me, meaning that mental me that we continually identify with all of those grim thoughts. So spiritual awakening is essentially something that's helped us see past that for a moment. Just for a moment. So we get a little glimpse of who we really are for a second. And then of course, usually it goes like this, is that experience is covered over a little bit because it was just a taste. And then life is saying, well, now you've got to do the work. You've had a glimpse, but you've got to put the work in now to really shift the body, the energetics in the system, and really purify the nervous system so that you can hold on to more types of that fine energy in the system. And that takes time. And if you want to find out how you can do that, you're more than welcome to sign up down below for the completely free Freedom Toolkit. I want you to have it. It's there for a reason. I've put some hard work and built it for you so that you can have a little starter kit for your awakening if you're going through this process. Equally, if you are one of those people that knows they're ready to take the next step on this path, and you get a feeling like you're drawn towards this kind of stuff, and you're ready to revolutionize your life, then you're more than welcome to apply for the Freedom Blueprint, but that requires investment. It's a paid product, but there's no better thing that you can invest in than yourself. So we've described what a spiritual awakening is. Now, what does it really look like? Disaster. Disaster after disaster after disaster, almost like your life is being used as a cosmic joke. And in a way, it is. But because God has a sense of humour, and we don't even need to use that word God if we're not liking that word, we can call it nature, because nature has a sense of humour, or universe has a sense of humour. This cosmic joke that your life has become, where lots of problems come, well, when you're doing your sadhana, your work, to shift yourself through these problems, these issues, these challenges that you're divinely here to face, then you become more of that which you're meant to be. As you become the superhero of each problem, you recognize the solution, you become that solution, and therefore you almost are a beacon of light for people looking for that solution, and you will be able to help them, which makes you a pretty badass guy or gal, right? But if we're really honest with ourselves, at the start of the journey, for a little period of time, I'm saying little because I want to encourage you that it doesn't have to take forever if you're doing the right work. For a little period of time, life just gets real weird and frankly, very negative. And the reason that happens is because we're responding to life in a way that is in itself negative, because we've been taught, haven't we, through our conditioning. Our parents have taught us to be a certain way. Our grandparents have helped add to that. We have generations of also biological karma in the system, meaning our ancestors are in us now, and their tendencies or their lacks are now in us, and we have to work through that too. So it can feel like a mammoth task, and that's because it is. It's a mammoth task, but you've signed up for this in a way, and sometimes you might feel like, I don't think I really have signed up for this. And then we bring in that word called destiny, and it's like, on some level, my dear, you must have signed up for this. You must have signed up to clear all of this karma, and what a wonderful, beautiful, really, opportunity for you to be able to do that for you, for your ancestors, and for the people that are going to come after you. The buck can stop with you. If you look up the family line and go, you don't really like what I've been passed down, then you have the opportunity to change it. Now, this is probably the first time in history where we're beginning to recognize that we can change these things. And therefore, because we change these things, we don't have the same future that our parents will have. And we will create a completely new future for firstly us, but then also the world, if most of us begin doing this. But the only way most people are going to start doing this is if they are deeply challenged by life. If they are put into an experience of quite frankly, hardship. And that is why sometimes the lazy mind can go into this whole victim mode. Can't it? It can say, oh, sugar. Why me? Why is God doing this to me? Is this punishment? And the answer is, it will feel like it, yeah, but it absolutely isn't. Life is your friend. Life is your friend. But we don't realise that because we're taught to respond negatively to life, in a way, to circumstances. And we have so much of an ego inside of ourselves that we're like full of personal will and stubbornness perhaps sometimes. And so we think this is me. I'm responding to life in a way that's me, not realising that it's completely negative. Oh, I'm stubborn. Oh, okay, if you say so. Or I'm negative. Oh, okay, if you say so. But you can change that, should you wish. And the pain that's coming at the start of the awakening will ask you, as an open invitation, to change that response to life. Now, it doesn't seem like life is our friend because we are bombarded at the start, aren't we? We recognise we have an experience perhaps, or we get an inkling that I'm going through some big transformational experience inside of myself. And we can begin sort of questioning a little bit the reasons why maybe my life is beginning to fall apart and my identity is beginning to drop away. This can be a really confusing moment. That's why it's great to get a teacher. And in a sense, when you find a teacher that's worth their salt, they're going to confound and compound all of those problems because you're going to have an ego, you know? And the teacher's job is to frustrate that ego, which makes it very, very messy work for the teacher because you're not going to like that as he's challenging you or she is challenging you on every step that you do and holding you accountable. And sometimes even to the degree, because I know monks that do this, mocking you for the way that you are. No, I don't do that because I'm a bit more relaxed here and I don't know that doing that all of the time is actually really that helpful. But once in a while, a good dressing down to say, hey, here's this thing you're doing, you know, come on, let's go. What do you want? Do you want the best for yourself or do you want to stay in this? It can be the best thing for you. Now, this crappy stage at the start, we're doing lots of learning. So it's not all crap, you know, it's a wonderful learning experience, but it can come with lots of dark emotions and they can also then be compounded if a dark night of the soul experience then happens. Now, I believe that it's a rite of passage, a spiritual rite of passage, this dark night of the soul, and that's where things get crazy because we're then really in a very dark, what would be considered societally as a clinical depression, and a really quite a serious one too, because you're having a genuine existential crisis. And then again, we're blaming God and life, like, why me? Why is this? And projecting our fears into the future, like, I can't keep going on like this, or this is going to be mad. And then some very disconnected thoughts of, well, I could just, you know, hop off the merry-go-round, if you understand what I'm saying, begin to come up too. Now, they're not actually true thoughts. They're not really your thoughts. It's just in a way the egoic thoughts, the ego coming up and representing the negativity that we have in relationship to our responses in life. So don't do anything stupid, because we don't need to. We can just do the work and things will change anyway. But you've got to get the right work. So if we're getting through that stage though, the dark night of the soul, then we've had probably 2 or 3 years of strong experiences inside of the system, which is going to make you very tough and very resilient. Life just wants to make you strong, and that is a matter of fact because you are life's child in a way. And so this is really important as we develop our character and go down this path to have some form of hardship, and it really is hardship. And that won't end there, but after the dark night of the soul, at least, the light will come back into your life. We'll begin feeling again in a way that makes us feel inspired by life. There's a few more stages, of course, after that, but I recognize that a lot of us in this journey are here in this sort of period, just coming out of the dark night of the soul, which is really wonderful. There'll be more challenges, but for now, enjoy this wonderful feeling of new, of fresh aliveness, because it's spring, isn't it? This is spring coming, so you better plant the seeds that you want to harvest, perhaps, or you better nurture the seeds that you planted in winter that you want to harvest for summer, because that's the way that nature works, isn't it? And to do that, you need to get involved in some sadhana, some powerful yogic kriyas that are specifically designed to enliven and water those seeds and nourish you on the inside. Of course, once we're through most of the darkness, then all it is really, it's not, I wouldn't call it plain sailing at all, but you'll know yourself, truly, and you'll know what your true north is. And so you'll know what excites you and what you want to do with your life. And then it's up to you to take responsibility and actually go and find ways to go and do that. Again, there'll be challenges along the way, but that's perfectly fine, because we've now become a very resilient person because of that dark stage of the awakening. But as you begin to know yourself more, you get a little bit more freedom inside of yourself, because you're not using the same ways that you were before to engage with the world. You're much more bright, you're much more positive inside of yourself, because your energy's been changed and shifted in such a way that you can be, and it's natural for you. It's not like forcing a technique, I have to be positive. No. You just will be. You'll be lighter in your being, and that's a really big sign, that you're really doing quite well on your journeys, when you become really, really light. It won't last. You'll ebb and flow, of course, because you need more challenge, isn't it? And then you'll need to do the work to focus, and then with that challenge, and then break through that challenge too. But your karma does get a lot lighter, and that's really important, because then you can see for sure these practices, the method, is setting me free, and that's what this is really about. So what does a spiritual awakening really look like? It looks like a disaster for a bit, and then it doesn't look like a disaster anymore. And then you can speak like I am, for example, with people, and be really who you are and not really care what they think, and just be open and honest and vulnerably me. And isn't that really what freedom is? To just be yourself and really mean it, and have people like you for being you. They're not all gonna like you, but within reason, that's what'll happen. You're setting yourself free from all of this ancestral crap, all of this conditioning, and that's worth a good stint of doing sadhana. Because some people say, oh God, 3 years of sadhana just to feel good again. It's like, well, imagine going to university. That's 3 years at a minimum, and you did that, or if you didn't do that, you could have done. And you would have been willing to do that, or in whatever aspect of life that you do, entrepreneurship, well, you need a 5-6 years worth of study in yourself by doing, isn't it? And so it's all an investment in yourself, but it's just like, well, where are you going to invest in yourself? Because this will sort out every aspect of your life. And I mean that. So here's to you. If you haven't got any sadhana, pick some up. Yeah, get it in the system, because it's well worth it. And hope this video helps you. Lots of love. Namaste.